Inspired by the YouTube channel Media Zealot, this video essay is titled, Villains Too Stupid to Win, Debbie and Carrie. Debbie and Carrie was actually based on a character originally created by Mary Bliss Pinnock at 1977. Hermine Benson, a lazy narcissist who worked as a writer for Channel 1 News, but resented the fact that the man she was fond of, Paul Jones, was married to Vicky Jones. Many episodes featured Hermine trying to get revenge on Vicky or otherwise cause trouble for Vicky and Paul. She was especially notorious for her catchphrase, "I've never been so insulted in my life." After watching several episodes of the Paul and Vicky/Blazing Beauty show that featured Hermine Benson, Dale's husband decided that a character similar to her would make a great villain for his own series, The Debbie and Carrie Show. And so he made a near duplicate of the Hermine model, named her Debbie and Kalli, and introduced her as a rival for Sandy Smith. According to Sandy Smith's own backstory, Debbie and Kalli was the one who caused Sandy's first husband, Rich Smith, to cheat on her, and that led to a divorce. Debbie went on to marry a rich old man and then gained his estate after he died, something that Anna Nicole Smith had attempted to do in real life. Point 1. Debbie and Kalli's vendetta against Sandy Smith was originally that of her mother, Jennifer Kalli. She really had no life of her own. Indeed, the feud between the families of Debbie and Kalli and Sandy Smith, maiden name Sandy Green, originated with Penelope Kalli, Diana's grandmother, whose worst rival in high school was Karen Green, Sandy's mother. And a generation later, Penelope's daughter Jennifer was the rival in high school of Sandy. Jennifer was several years older than Sandy and got married right out of high school to a rich man in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and quickly got pregnant with Diana. 2 years later, Jennifer had another daughter, Denise. But Jennifer treated Diana with favoritism and scorned her other daughter. The girl's father hated that, so he divorced Jennifer and took Denise with him to Montana, while Diana stayed in Tulsa with her mother. It was Jennifer's idea for Diana to seduce Rich Smith while Diana was still a teen. The subsequent breakup of Rich and Smith's marriage convinced Diana that Sandy would be a target for her to tear down for decades to come. Diana was obsessed with carrying out her mother's vision for her life, even after her mother died. To further humiliate Sandy, Diana convinced one of Sandy's brothers, Simon Green, to marry her by claiming that the death of her mother persuaded her that the feud between the Kallis and the Greens needed to end. Sandy was not fooled by this deception. Sandy found unexpected help in the form of Steve Miller, who Debbie and Kalli had antagonized in the past. Steve convinced Sandy to marry him so she would have no reason to attend the wedding of Simon Green and Debbie and Kalli. Sandy then moved to Tulsa with Steve, giving her plenty of opportunities to battle with Diana and thus expose her for the liar and backstabber Sandy always knew Diana to be. Eventually, even many of Green family members realized from their experience with Diana how shallow their own values had been. Point 2. Diana's scornful rejection of her own sister Denise drove that sister right into the arms of her enemies. After spending decades in Montana with her father, Denise returned to Tulsa after her father died to reconnect with her sister. But Diana wanted nothing to do with her, assuming that Denise wanted a chunk of her estate for herself. So Diana rejected Denise, shattering Denise's already broken heart, because now Denise had no family left to love her. In terms of character, Denise was indeed the polar opposite of Diana, and after learning of what Diana had done to Sandy Smith, Denise went to Sandy to ask if she could make amends for the past. Sandy's response was to arrange to divorce Steve Miller so that Steve could then marry Denise in turn, completely turning the tables on Diana, who had already divorced Simon Green. At Steve and Denise's wedding, Diana attempted to crash it, only to be confronted and beaten in public by Sandy. Point 3. Diana's inability to let go of her hatred for Sandy finally led to her death at Sandy's hands. Diana finally decided she would get revenge on Sandy by killing her, and to do that, she set a deadly trap. First, she set wildfires in a forest outside Sandy's town that destroyed a summer campsite. Then she kidnapped the child who had been attending the camp, and told Debbie, Sandy's daughter, that she would only release the child if Sandy came to her. Sandy knew exactly what might happen, but she willingly walked right into Diana's trap, so determined was she to defeat her rival once and for all. Indeed, Debbie and Kalli grossly miscalculated how strong Sandy Smith was. Diana pulled a gun on Sandy, but Sandy was able to grab it to stop herself from being shot, Then as they struggled over the gun, Sandy managed to turn it completely around in Diana's own hands and then pulled the trigger, killing Diana and bringing to an end the Kalli Green feud. Such a tragic waste of a life.